Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar, where we get to sit down and talk with interesting professional guitar players and related music industry experts. If you love playing guitar, stick around. You're in the right place. Hey everybody, this is Craig Garber from Everyone Loves Guitar, and I've got a really interesting guitar player today. Interesting for a number of reasons. First of all, he's Canadian, and second of all, he's got a degree in jazz and classical music. And you guys with degrees in jazz are like super smart, you know, just intellectually, because you got to be pretty intellectual to play jazz and classical. So go easy on me. Anyway, today we're with Stephan LaPlante. Did I say that correctly?
Yep, that's perfect.
Awesome. From Quebec City, Canada. He's 28 years old, and French is his first language, and he's a lefty. So he basically said, what's the most difficult things I could assemble and then come to America and be successful with them? And he's done it. So good for him. Biggest musical influence is Stevie Ray Vaughan, Robin Ford, Michael Landau. On the country side, Pete Anderson from Dwight Yoakam's band, Ray Flack from Ricky Skaggs, and Clint Strong from Merle Haggard's band. He's got a master's, as I said. A master's? I didn't see that. Wow, not just an undergraduate, a master's in jazz and classical music from college. He started playing clubs at 17, and then that's where he found his sound and tone out in the clubs. And he started working on himself as a player. By the time he turned 20, he got his first big gig back in Canada with an artist named Jason Blaine. And one cool thing they did is they were part of the last Brooks and Dunn tour in 2010. He moved to Nashville at 21, 7 years ago. A few months later, he got the gig with Clay Walker, and he played for Clay for 3 years. Then he went to play for Emerson Drive for a few months, and then for a female artist called Lindsay L., and they were on the Band Perry tour in the winter of 2014. After that tour, he got called to play for Craig Campbell. He did that for 2 years. They had a top 10 hit single at the time, so it was a really busy 2 years. 2015, went to play for Tracy Lawrence. In 2016, took the gig with Joe Nichols and played almost 2 years for him. And then he recently took the job with Easton Corbin, and he's having a good time with that. Other than playing guitar, he loves fitness. He does CrossFit. He trains on the road and in his home gym. He believes it's important to stay active, especially when he's traveling a lot, and it requires a lot of energy to perform on stage as well. Man, you will have no idea how much you will appreciate that when you're my age and you look on Facebook and you see everybody else, and it's scary, and you're like, thank goodness I did something to take care of my body for the last 30 years. Anyway, man, thanks for coming on the show, man. I'm happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, man. I look forward to talking with you. You're a bright guy. So real quick, before we get started, do you remember what the last piece of music you listened to before we got on this call?
Oh my gosh. Probably like some blues. When I work out, I always put music, right? Yeah. On the garage. So I guess I put Pandora, and then, you know, probably some like Robin Ford. I don't know, some blues, blues stuff. But
I hear
not sure what song, but yeah.
I don't stream, so I'm like so devoid of knowledge of how that even. I mean, I know how it works. I have like 40,000 songs on my iTunes, so I'm always like, I'm kind of old school with that.
That's fine.
Hey man, I give you a lot of credit for just picking up, moving to Nashville at a young age like that. You were from another country. English wasn't your first language, and I think that took a hell of a lot of courage. And I was curious, you know, what prompted that move.
That was scary. I mean, of course, you know, I played guitar my whole life, so I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I'm a very everything or nothing person, right? So when I try something, I'm like, okay, let's go all in, you know, put all my chips into, you know, try to get the best shot at it. So, I mean, I definitely, it was scary for sure, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to get a gig. You don't know, you know, financially, there's so many questions. But I'm glad I did it, because I didn't have anything to lose. Meaning, I was on the road in Canada and just got out of college and stuff. But it was the perfect timing to try it. So,
did you know anybody in town at all?
I knew one person, my friend Danik. He's the main guitar player in the band Emerson Drive. So Emerson Drive, they're from Montreal, so they all speak French as well. And
okay.
Yeah, so I was a good friend with his dad, and his dad builds guitar, so he built me a guitar, and we became super good friends. And then Danik said, "Hey man, you really should, you know, think about moving to Nashville and everything." And he helped me out a little bit. You know, I first rent a room at his house, so I was his roommate. So I rented a room, and then that's how it all started. But yeah, so I knew him. So at least I knew one person in town. because I guess it's super hard. Even knowing someone, it's really hard where to start, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Who to meet, how do I do this? There's thousands of musicians here. There's thousands of, you know, great players. So it's like, how do I do this? But
the good thing is everybody's so supportive in Nashville. They don't look at, the musicians don't look at it as, oh, this guy's my competition, which is very unusual.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah, because from where I'm from in Quebec, there's not that much work. I mean, there's work, but it's pretty like tight. Like people like, I mean, like it's hard to get the really good gigs, and when you do, people are really protective of their gigs and stuff. Like in Nashville, I think that if you're a good person and people, which the first impression like is really important, but if you're a good person and you're a nice person, I mean, if you're a good player, you're gonna work because there's a lot of work in town.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's really like based on who you are as far as your personality and if you're fun to be around. Because I mean, playing a show, playing a gig, being on the road, that's like an hour out of your time, the show, right? An hour and a half. But being on the road is the 23 hours a day is being on the bus with everybody else. It's hanging out. If you're cool to be around, if you're friendly, if you're easy to, you know, so that plays a huge part in it too. So
yeah, everybody's. I mean, a lot of people have said the same thing. The hang is, you know, very important there.
Absolutely.
It's funny. Sometimes I'll talk with guys when they're on the road, and you know, in the beginning, you know, I do the interviews. They're like, "Hey, listen, I'm really sorry to bother you. Thank you very much." And they're like, "No. You just occupied an hour and a half of my time that went so quickly. Now I'm faced with the next 8 hours of boredom again." So you know, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you come to town. How'd you get the gig with Clay Walker?
So Clay Walker, I didn't even know he was looking for guitar player, which, you know, that's not like everybody, Clay Walker's looking for guitar player. It's really underground. Like you don't really hear about auditions. It's very like, people don't talk about it. It's more so like, I got lucky, like good timing. I was playing downtown and his guitar player at the time happened to hear me play. And I just moved to town and I didn't know who he was or who he played for or anything, but he got my number. We exchanged information, and I guess when he decided to stop playing for Clay, I guess he gave a bunch of phone numbers of a bunch of guitar players he knew, and I guess I was in the list of, you know, his contact list because we just met and stuff. So the band leader just made a bunch of phone calls, and I got a call, and I went over there, and you know, they would film you too because Clay wanted to see, you know, what you look like, how you act, you know, and everything. So they filmed you.
That's a lot of pressure, though.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, okay, can you play this solo from this song or play this part or blah, 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 blah. But I think what did it is very at the end of the audition, he said, hey, just play whatever you want, you know. And that's when, like, your whole life of playing, of practicing, it's just closed my eyes and I played, you know.
What did you play, Stevie Ray Vaughan?
I played two things, like one like really jazzy like thing, and the other one was like bluesy. Yeah, but I was so happy when I got, you know, they were like, hey, we're really interested. Would you mind, you know, coming on the road? Like they were starting like the tour like 2 weeks after that, so everything happened really fast, you know. But it was great because Clay's an awesome guy. Great, he has tons of experience. I mean, he's been doing it for over 20 years. So as a player, to start with him, he just taught me a lot about just stage presence, how to move on stage, how to play for people, just the showmanship, everything. So musically was great.
So you sound like you learned a lot of fundamentals from him that really served you well moving forward.
Absolutely. And even musically, like Clay loves like R&B and soul, and that's what we listened to on the bus after the shows. Like it just opened my eyes to different things too, musically.
That's very cool. So it was a really great gig for you.
It was awesome. I mean, as a matter of fact, we were playing Little Wing by like Jimi Hendrix, but me and the other guitar player, we had like 6 minutes just for us. Like Clay would be like, hey, y'all love guitars. Like I have these two awesome guitar players, blah, blah, blah. They're going to bring it. And then we had 6 minutes it was awesome.
That's really cool. That's a long time.
Not everybody that would, you know, just go off stage and enjoy, because Clay truly enjoys music. So for him, it was a moment, you know, like to see two guys, you know, having fun on stage. And so
that's awesome. What did the tour end there, or what prompted the move that you went to play for Emerson Drive for a few months?
Well, Danik, see, so my friend Danik from Emerson Drive, we've always been great friends, and what happened is they had a fiddle player, and then they finally hired a second guitar player. They decided to hire a second guitar player, so they offered it to me, and at first it was fine because it was fine with my Clay Walker schedule, so I could fill in between when I wasn't playing with Clay, and then finally I started playing with them for a good maybe 6 months that I was played for them, and then they're great. Like, they're so laid back. They had a lot of hits. I mean, back in the day, and even still in Canada right now, they're still popular. So that was fun for me to do that. But Clay was slowing down. His schedule was, he still has shows, but it was, a little less dates and stuff. And I said, well, why not? Let's do this. But
and you being young, you like being out on the road because it's a growth opportunity.
I love traveling. As a matter of fact, I take pictures of everywhere I go. Like, on my computer, it's all like with the city, the number, the artist. I just love it.
That's cool.
I can go back 7 years and look at everything I did, and I love going on runs and seeing things I wouldn't see usually,
Yeah,
So,
yeah. What kind of camera do you have, or you use your iPhone?
Yeah,
Just
I would
iPhone.
buy a good camera actually one day, like a really good camera, but eventually take pictures, really good pictures. But
they have some really cool small ones now. Like, you don't have to go and buy a big DSLR.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That'd be something I would definitely like, to just take pictures. I enjoy it. So,
Yeah, I love taking pictures, man. So we just talked about it. If you're okay telling the story, before you went, you're playing with Easton Corbin now, but you were with Joe Nichols. And I had a question: was it difficult to leave that gig?
Yes, absolutely. I think it was the most difficult choice that I've had to make so far in my career. Just because I wasn't fully, I was still very enjoying Joe's music. I mean, I've always loved Joe's music. So many hits. I mean, to be able to go on stage and play, Sunny and 75, Yeah, Give Me That Girl, Broken Heartsville, Tequila Makes So Clothes Fall Off, like all these hits, right? And so it was hard. Plus, Joe's very kind, very generous person, kind. He's always been really, really good to me. So that was really hard to call and be like, I think I'm going to do this. Sometimes you have to just follow your gut feeling, even if you're not 100% sure, but what you think is the right decision. But like I said earlier, Easton maybe plays a little bit more shows and likes to be out on the road a little bit more. And I'm still at the point in my life where I enjoy touring. So for me, I was like, okay, well, I like that. Like just last year, Easton, they were on the Carrie Underwood tour. They did like 100 shows just with her, and plus their dates. They
did 100 shows. So you played with Sean
Bailey?
Tubbs.
Oh, Tubbs, yes. Yeah, he's in Carrie, yeah. I wasn't with Easton yet, but that was last.
Okay. Yeah, so you get to play with them. Are they going out with Carrie again?
No, not this year. That was last year. That was the whole last year, but they were really busy. But I think so when I was playing for Lindsay L, we were on the Ben Perry tour, and the lineup was Lindsay L, Easton Corbin, and Ben Perry. So that's how I met the guys.
Okay.
Easton, right? And we would work out together every day. I became really good friend with Lauren, the other guitar player. So we became buddies. So when they started to look for, a replacement, they thought about me.
Gotcha.
And he's like, hey, I know you have a gig with Joe and whatnot. I just want to let you know that this is available if you're interested. And I didn't say yes right away. I said, let me just think about it and sleep on it. And if y'all can't find anyone, because they did auditions for Easton, and I guess they were still looking, and they said, so it just, I decided to take it. But
good for you, man. Thanks for sharing your thought process. That was interesting. Are you working on anything else now that you're excited about?
I'm it's funny because the past 7 years have been so busy for me, as far as you tour with a main artist, but then I would take all kinds of gigs left and right with other people, like showcases for new artists in town, and tons of extra work, to the point where I got really tired. I was like, I have to maybe slow down a little bit. I would play in town all the time. So this year I was busy. See, I played with Joe. I switched from Joe to Easton in May or June. And I kind of told myself, hey, I'm just going to chill a little bit. It's just when I'm off, take a few days at home. And,
good for you.
So, but I'm definitely practicing, working on different things. As far as personally as a player, like there's things it's hard to find time sometimes when you're touring. So now I can sit down and work on some stuff and like musically, so I keep practicing. I keep working out. I love, I kind of training and pretty hard in town here. I just started this CrossFit gym in Nashville. It's fun. It's like a community, right? People
CrossFit is really like very cult-like. Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's just, I love it. It's hard. It's super hard, but I just really enjoy it. People are nice, and you even cook, like do cookouts, like outside, like the workouts and stuff. And it's just, so I do that. I stay in shape and, practice music and all that. And I get called to play left and right for people in town. So I do that too, but
awesome.
I want to start writing soon as well.
Do you do session work? Any session work at all?
I did. I don't do it like on a regular basis, but I get calls that like here and there, and I really enjoy it. It's so different because you play sessions, you're creating something. You go from nothing to making something, which when you're a player, you listen to a record and you learn the part and you copy what that person played. So it's a completely different part of your brain.
Totally.
So, but I love sessions as well. So it's something I definitely want to get, more involved in. The only thing is when you're going on the road a lot, if you're not available for them, it's like two different worlds, Do you want a session player? Do you want to be a, touring musician? So, but eventually when I want to go be in town more, I'm definitely going to lean more towards being
more session work.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome, man. Do you find that your training, I mean, you've not a knock against Nashville or anywhere, but you're like way overtrained technically for what you're doing now. Well, I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean, like, your performance at a master's level of jazz and classical, any guitarist in town will tell you that, that's a lot more above than the technical aspect of what you're playing.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I'm really glad I went to school and I did it because it's fun to understand the theory, like what you're doing and why and all that. So it's really great. But at the same time, it's not what makes a great player, So you have guys that never been to school and they're just monsters. It's just, there's a lot about like listening with your ears and being like the intuition. I don't know. There's so much to, playing live. But what I found out is when I was in school, I was practicing all these technical things all day. And then, I started going on the road, and then stopped practicing, I'm not near as much, but my playing kind of grew, like evolved in a different way now because it's like less is more. Like I just do more, like maybe less notes or less technical stuff, but more like I feel it more, I try, it's Stevie Ray Vaughan, like my, it's my way of thinking. He's my just the reason why I play guitar. So for him, it was all about feel and soul and less is more, and make things like matter when you play, when you play a note, make it so people feel it, So with all these years of touring now, I definitely I'm leaning more towards that than when I first started, where it was more technical and this and that. But now, of course, I have the ability to pick from that baggage of going to school, but now I think more about just make people feel something, less is more. It's hard to explain, but my playing changed a lot in the past 7 years for sure.
No, I know exactly what you're saying, and that makes total sense because when you're thinking about things on an emotional level, technical proficiency is not often relevant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's great to be able to play some cool stuff and all that, but it has something to do with, you have guys that play really technical, but you don't feel anything. It's cold and so. Yeah. But I'm very glad I did it because Clay Walker, for example, had tons of classical guitar stuff and gut string stuff.
Oh, wow.
Even Easton. I mean, I'm playing, so I'm definitely using that baggage, in every gig I played, every artist I played for. So
that's awesome. That's really good. Well, what was your childhood like growing up in Quebec?
It was great. I come from a great family. We were all very close, and they're very supportive of me and my career. And I mean, just a few weeks ago, they drove 8 hours. We were playing up in Waterloo, New York, and they just drove
That's way upstate, right?
Yeah, 7 or 8 hours to go see me play, and just for a day.
That's really nice.
drive back. So they're really supportive, and they know that even if it's hard being far, that's what I've always, wanted to do, and that's what I was meant to do. So growing up, it was great. I mean, I'm very close to my whole family. My uncles, like my dad, we did everything together. Like I'd want to play tennis. He'd start tennis with me. I wanted to play guitar. He started guitar lessons with me because I was 9. I was too kind of shy to go by myself at first. And he's like, well, I'll go with you. He bought a guitar.
That is really cool, man.
So it's really cool. And in Quebec, so it's all French, right? So I grew up speaking French. As a matter of fact, till I moved to Nashville at 21, all I knew was the basic English, like what they teach you in school. Like,
curse words.
It's like, yeah. But like just like very like basic stuff. So that was really hard moving to Nashville because you feel frustrated. You want to say something, but then.
So what did you do? Because you read a lot, because you sound pretty well read, actually.
I read a little bit. I mostly I feel like what helped me a lot is just online. Internet is all English, most of it, and then watching TV shows. I remember watching shows and you're kind of guessing what they're saying, and then it kind of click overnight. It's like if my brain the next day I'm 30 minutes into my show, and it's like, wait a minute, I don't have to guess anymore. I actually understand. It's very strange how it happened, but something like right now talking for an hour, I would be completely scared to death to do it.
But you're not now, of course.
No, I'm not, but it would be really scary a few years ago for me to speak an hour.
Sure, I totally get that. It's funny because I've had buddies. I grew up in New York City, so I obviously loads of my friends were not English. Either they were bilingual or English was not their first language, and they learned English. And I can't tell you how many times I was told, if you want to learn a foreign language, watch television in that language.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was told that often.
So it definitely helped, but it was hard. I mean, you get on the bus with Clay. Clay's from South Texas. His other guitar player was from Alabama. I mean, they're all Southern. I couldn't understand anything, really. I probably went to bed at 7 p.m. that first night. I was like, I'm out. I don't know what y'all are saying, so have a good night,
That's funny. That's okay. When I was living in New York, I wouldn't understand what they said either. Now I do. It's good, but oh, boy.
One of the first shows, we have this talkback mic in the back, so Clay could talk to us in her in-ears, right? So to give directions or something, just whatever. But with the music, I'm playing a solo and everything's so loud in my ears, and all I hear is him talking in the back and with his southern accent. It's like blah, 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 blah. And I hear my name, Stephan, blah blah, and I'm like, now I know he's talking to me, right? And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm just smiling. I have no clue what he's trying to say, and So
well, that's cool. Whatever you did worked, obviously, and your English is great now, man.
Well,
so
thanks.
Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Your English is totally perfect, man. What kind of work did your folks do?
My dad was a contractor. He's great. He was works a lot. I didn't see him as much, as my uncle. That's probably why I was always with my uncle. Yeah. He's like my dad. So my dad was working a lot. My uncle was a police officer. He's retired now, but just great. My aunt worked. She was working for a bank. My mom was. She's awesome. She used to work for an insurance company, but when she had me, she decided to stay at home and just raise me and stuff. Me and my sister. So she was at home. And my grandparents, my grandpas, they speak perfect English. So when I was a kid, my grandfather was trying to talk to me in English. So that's probably why it helped a bit. But he was working for an American company, the big mine trucks, the big yellow trucks, Wabco or what, I don't know what the company is, but, so he was traveling his whole life and all that. So, but yeah, great family. Yeah.
Very cool, man. So how did you get so was your uncle who got you into guitar then?
Well, my grandpa loved country music. I just feel like it was in me, no matter, I was 1 or 2 years old, and you could see me just listening to music all day, or take a guitar toy and just try to play. It was part of me. I don't know. It's hard to explain it, but I definitely wanted to start lessons. I was ready at 6 or 7, but I think that you to be 9 years old to start the official like lessons, guitar lessons. So I waited till I was 9, and then, but I feel like it's always been in me. Like I knew that's what I wanted to do. I knew that's, yeah. So
interesting. In America, it's such, it's a purely capitalist society. So if you had a 6-month-old child and he wanted to go to lessons, there would be somebody giving him lessons. There would never be any regulations or any.
It wasn't like a school from the city. I guess it was. I don't know. You're right. I guess my parents could have hired a personal teacher to come to the house and stuff, but I feel like they judged that, the minimum age to be able to retain what the teacher would teach me be around 9 years old. So that was, I said, okay.
Yeah.
So I waited till I was 9, and then I had a great teacher, like the best teacher I could have ever possibly dream of having to start me like as a player. Great, like very patient, and he would always go over on the lesson like 15 minutes and be like, okay, like, give me extra stuff. And so that was really, really good. And yeah, I did that. And what helped me too is I bought all the Berklee College of Music, all the lessons from Berklee when I was 15. So from like jazz to fusion to blues to country. So that's when like I really dug into all those things.
They sell those.
They sell those.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I really dug into all that stuff, and that's when I really put the work. And I couldn't understand. I mean, it's university level, so I couldn't understand everything, but I was trying, taking notes and trying to understand the concepts and everything. And that's when I really, really like started to become me, like as a player.
Sure.
Then I went to college, but yeah.
When you started playing professionally, was there any surprises that, or things that surprised you about the career from a business standpoint? Not necessarily bad things, could be good, bad, indifferent. From
the business, no. I mean, of course, some musicians I think you have to be organized because you're self-employed, right? So I think you have to be like a very organized person and be like, okay, because your income might change from one month to the next. So you have to plan ahead. You have to be like pretty, mature with your money and stuff. But no, I mean, I knew what I was getting myself into. Yeah, it's very like, there's no contract. So it's like you do a good job, they keep you, and if you have a better offer and you feel like it's time to go, you can go. It's very like based on verbal agreements or like, so I never had to sign a contract for any artist
Sure.
I played for, So
so are you organized?
I would say I think I am. Yeah. It's important. I mean, just even owning my house like by myself and stuff, I had to be decently organized financially and everything. So, yeah. I would say I'm organized.
Yeah. No, I mean, my experience with you has been great. You've been super organized with everything, man. So, I mean, and I think how you do one thing is how you do everything pretty much in life. So I would imagine that's consistent.
True. I agree with that completely. As a matter of fact, that's why I work out in a way like, it has nothing to do with music. Yes and no, because you learn how to discipline yourself and go through discomfort, because when you do like CrossFit and stuff, while you do it sucks, but you're super proud of yourself after you went through something that was uncomfortable. But I feel like it trains your brain to be like mentally stronger, like, so when you have to learn songs like Last Second for an artist, or when they add a song like an hour before the show and you have to learn it and own it, and you go on stage and you're like scared about it, or you're like nervous about it. I'm nervous and scared when they count down 5 down to 1 before the workout, starts.
Sure.
It's the same situation. So you learn how to calm yourself and mentally be strong. So that's why I work out partially. Helps me in music.
Well, not only that, just the more it's a habit, man, the more you are in the habit of being disciplined, the more that's a regular, that is a habit. It's not like, holy shit, I got it.
Yeah, if you're lazy, you're going to want to be lazier.
Right, 100%. So, what's the big difference between, if there is one, is there a difference being in the business in Quebec and being in the business here?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. the market is much smaller back home. Like just think about the major cities. So in Canada, there might be, you know, the big cities. I mean, 15, 20, you know, really big cities with arenas and tons of venues. So, and then here, like tons of cities, right? So like what, over 300 maybe major cities. So just the market is way bigger. So when it's your main income, you know, I don't have a day job, but music is my job. So it's touring down here is just opens the door to so much more. And being in Nashville as well, because when I'm off, like I can go play, I mean, downtown, I can go play with, you know, I can do tons of things. I could play every day if I wanted, which I think that's the only city really that you could play every day, twice a day, if ever you wanted.
Yeah, probably New York, maybe.
Yeah, New York,
LA.
Yeah. There's a few exceptions.
That's probably it. Those three.
And then Nashville is growing so fast right now. Like, it's just insane how fast it's growing. I feel like a lot of LA people are moving here. Like the business is kind of all moving here. The pop world is coming here. Like, it's just very, the energy here is awesome. So
that's good, man.
From writing, you know, you can be busy writing. You can be busy in the studio. You could do showcases, play for artists. You can go play downtown for fun. You can be on the road like me with an artist. You know, there's tons of options. So it's awesome.
Very cool, man. Let's talk a little bit about your gear. What's your go-to guitar right now? And like maybe what other two guitars make up your top 3 or top 4?
All right. I like old guitars.
Oh, you do? Let me show them. Bring them out, man.
All right.
Stephan's in his room. I see all his guitars there.
Yeah, exactly.
This is very cool.
Well, this is my old Gibson Gold Top.
Very cool. It's so funny looking at a lefty guitar, man. It's really...
Well, that's why. So when I find them, I have to get them because one, it's rare. 2, so this one was cracked. The neck was cracked. But we have this guy, Joe Glazer, here that everything. So for him, it's easy, right? So
I have to interview him because I've heard his name about 40 times.
Yeah, it sounds so good. And it got so much character because now it's all beat up, you know. So I would say my Gibson Gold Top.
What year is that?
That's a 74.
Oh, wow.
And then my old Telecaster. I have a couple of them, but this one is a 67 Telecaster.
That's in fantastic shape.
Yeah, so this is very special because apparently they used to nutmeg them in black, left-handed, back in the 60s. So the guy, it's an actual custom shop because it only says Fender here, not Fender Telecaster, right, on the headstock.
Oh.
So the guy called and said, hey, I want y'all to build me a guitar, black, blah, 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 with all the specs that you wanted. And that's it, back in, you know, 67. So, but it sounds amazing. It's all in the pickups. Like that.
I was going to ask you, what kind of pickups are they?
The original, the Fender, old Fender.
Those are the original pickups from 67.
Those pickups are...
That's 50 years old, man.
Yeah, man. And that's all my guitars, all my tellies, even the ones that are new, I put old pickups in them because that's where the tone is.
Very cool, man.
There's just something about the fact that it was handmade. Like they would turn it, like the magnet was... It would wind it like manually, like, and it's just that's where the magic is.
Well, they're lower output too, I believe, those pickups.
Yes, but you know that really poppy like.
Yeah.
Some of those pickups, you know. So that's what I fell in love with them. So when I see them on eBay or whatnot, which they're really expensive now, but I just been putting them in my guitars, you know.
Do you ever look on Reverb? I like Reverb better than eBay.
Yeah, Reverb.
Yeah.
I have an old.
I read an article about Reverb. Do you know who Cheap Trick is?
Yes.
Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick is one of the investors in Reverb. I didn't realize that.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is amazing.
They do over $400 million a year.
I know that.
I didn't realize they were that big, man. That's
huge.
Yeah.
Here's my old Gretsch.
That's beautiful, man. What year? Wow, that is beautiful.
65 Gretsch.
Wow.
And left-handed, they barely, even Joe said, I've never seen one before. Like, one of my uncle that I don't know, I'm not close to in Canada, had it in his closet for like 50 years, really.
Holy crap.
He's like, you know, Gretsch? I'm like, yes. He's like, well, I have this guitar, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God. So had to buy that.
Those pickups are so cool looking. I love the
They're
pickups.
super cool. It's just has its own sound, you know. And then I have, you know, my old SG 73 SG. I have, you know, a couple good acoustics but yeah, I would say I love my Les Paul. I love my Telly. Eventually, I want to get a good Gibson 335.
Yeah,
like Back to the Future. Favorite movie.
Beautiful guitars, man. Really beautiful guitars.
But yeah, when I see them, you know, when there's good deals online, I try to save up and get them, you know.
Sure, man. What about amps? What's your
I went
go-to?
through so many, I went through this phase when I moved here. I literally bought every pedal and every amps. Like, my floor was like pedals and amps everywhere, and I would try to find what my sound is, what my thing is. Now, I finally found it, you know, but depends who I play for, really, because when I was playing for Joe Nichols, I was playing my two Marshalls Super Lead, like 1970 and 1972 Super Leads, which they're rock amps, but not really. I mean, they do everything. I mean, they're super clean and tight and in your face, and it would sound so good. So I was playing Marshalls with Joe. With Clay Walker, I was playing a Deluxe, an old Fender Deluxe, 20-watt. You mic the heck out of it, and it sounds huge, you know. Emerson Drive, I was playing an old Bassman head. I mean, it just depends who I play with, you know. But
all same thing, vintage.
Vintage, yeah, vintage Fender, vintage Marshalls. And also the resale, like if you want to sell something, the value will never go down. I mean, really.
Yeah. But you have to, that being said, you have to also know how to maintain those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And in Nashville, we have the tools. Like, there's really good amp tech guys to fix stuff. Because it's like an old car; it's gonna break.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Unless you know how to do it, you shouldn't be owning it. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, old amps, old cabs, you know, old speakers, even. I mean, everything. So there's tons of great amp dudes that make amps now that are awesome. But they're all trying to copy what was already there. I mean, they're all copying a Vox, or they're copying a Marshall
Plexi. Yeah.
Why not getting the real deal? You know?
Yeah, so, for sure, man. What have you ever sold a guitar that you wish you could get back?
No, I sold a couple of them. Not really. I mean, I haven't made a major mistake yet of selling something and I'm like, okay, I wish I could get it back. But I only sold a few guitars, and they were brand new guitars. They weren't like a really rare old guitar or anything. So, yeah, not yet. Knock on wood.
Very cool.
I don't have to sell any really cool guitar.
You seem pretty practical. I mean, you seem like you know what you like and what you don't like. So I don't, you know,
yeah,
you don't seem impulsive, is what I'm saying.
Right, not too much. I mean, I've bought, like I said, I tried so many pedals and so many amps and stuff, but now I kind of found what my thing is, you know, what matches my hand, because I'm a very aggressive player, and also my sound is in my hand mostly. Like, it's your attack is where, you know, your pick hand, that's where the tone is. And I'm starting to sound like me more and more. No, it doesn't even matter what rig I plug in. I'm starting to sound like Stephan, you know, more and more, which takes years to achieve. But I think, yeah, I kind of found, you know, what I like and what works for me with my style. But yeah, it took forever. I mean, really.
Yeah, but you're a young guy. Forever is not that long. Forever is longer. It's not that long. Yeah.
It's just an expensive journey to buy all kinds of pedal and all kinds of amps and be like, oh, I want to sell it back. I'm losing $800 on this. Okay. You know, it's just very.
Yeah. But you're a professional. I mean, it's the part of the, I think that's part of the dues.
Job. It's
part of the tuition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Investing in your own career. So it's.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So, you know.
Yeah.
Stevie Ray Vaughan was obviously a big influence on you. What were you most attracted to about his playing? Because he played also very hard.
Yes. There's just something about him. I feel like there's never going to be anyone like him ever, and there was just him. Like, it's just, there's tons of awesome, like, you know, there's Eric Johnson, there's Joe Bonamassa, there's like Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and all these guys John Mayer that kind of copy Stevie Ray, but they had their own style. But to me, Stevie Ray was like everything to the purest form of just like your hand with a guitar with big strings with a high action, so it's hard to play. Everything comes from your hand, from your heart, like just one or two pedals, no fancy anything, just very back to basic. And to me, it's just amazing. And the less is more. And then because he's using not much, you hear things that you wouldn't hear. Like, I mean, you hear the skin like of his thumb, like on the strings. You hear like it's just texture to me. Like he's very like less is more, and let's play less notes. But they sound so big. It's just we're not used to hear that anymore. Like it just sounded so big. Whatever he did. So
I saw him down here in '94. Him and Jeff Beck with a show. It was a phenomenal show. When you were like 17 or 16 or 18.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, it was just special. But he played all day, every day. Like that's all he did. That was his life, right?
Like Hendrix was very similar to that. All played all the time.
It's just like even like us playing downtown. Like when we play, let's say I've had some runs downtown. I would take gigs, on Broadway for fun and play every day for like a week. And by the end of the week, not only everything flows by itself, but I'm playing things that I never thought I would think of or ever thought. It's almost like you're not thinking anymore. It just happens, and it just comes out of you. So I can only imagine a guy like Stevie that did that his whole life, playing guitar all the time.
Nothing but that. Yeah. It's very true.
It was so unique, and so it's a big influence for me. I'm a blues guy. I'm a blues rock, guy for sure.
You ever listen to Freddie King?
Yeah,
he's one of my favorite players. Gary Moore, Freddie King.
Yes, it's all these guys were great. I mean, there's just so much to learn from that, and there's not that many in Nashville that play like a blues guitar player. It's more like let's play country. We're in country music city.
I'll tell you who's a good guy in Nashville that plays blues is Rob McNally.
I heard the name.
Yeah, he's a blues. He's more of a blues classic rock guy.
Yeah,
very
and that's
much
great.
so.
I mean, that's awesome because I feel like even country artists, when they audition players and stuff, of course you have to be able to play country, but they're looking. I know, like for example, Clay Walker. What he loves so much about me is that how bluesy I was, and how even jazzy I could be, but still so country because I grew up playing rodeos and fairs and being on the road, playing country music. But so it's a mix of all that. But the fact that I have that background, that blues rock background, I would never, trade that for anything in the world because that's the route I'm choosing,
Yeah. You're being true to yourself, which is like incredibly important, I think, especially as an artist.
That's what people want to see. Are you trying to compare yourself? Are you trying to perform all the time? Are you trying to impress people? Or are you just being you and trying to play like you and you don't care about what people think and you just do your thing? And that's when people are like, wow, like, okay, he's authentic,
Yeah, and that comes through no matter what you're doing, whether it's playing guitar or whatever. Authenticity is hard to fake.
Absolutely.
Switch now to talk about you, personal stuff.
All right.
Best childhood memory.
Oh gosh, probably.
Sound like you got a lot of them.
My guitar concerts when I first started to play, like my first time being in front of the audience, maybe I would say. Yeah. Very
cool. Something or someone you miss from your childhood?
I had my two really good friends. We were three best friends back home, and of course now their life is up there. But which were so one is Tommy and Yannick, and one became a doctor, like a surgeon, and I'm the musician. We went like really opposite routes, but we're still really like great friends. And every time we see each other, we're just pick up where we left, even if we don't talk often anymore. But we were always together, I guess.
Yeah, that's good. It's comforting when you have friends like that where you don't have to, you just
pick
up where you left off. Very safe, non-threatening.
It doesn't feel like I've been gone or we haven't seen each other for months. We're just.
That's very cool.
Pretty awesome.
This is a tough question to answer for you, I bet. If you weren't doing what you're doing now, what do you think you'd be doing instead?
So hard, such a hard question. I mean, I love traveling, so probably anything with that would make me allow me to travel. And maybe I would have done maybe like sound engineer. Maybe I would have done like, I thought about all kinds of things when I was a kid, like engineer, a pilot, maybe a pilot, but really like I was amazed by the music scene. So I would think I would do something related to touring, Oh, tour manager. I don't know, like anything, that involves being on the road and touring with artists. I don't know, but
no, I tell you, it's a tough question because you've been immersed in this forever.
Yeah.
Most important person in your life?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I don't have, a wife or anything, so I can't say my wife, if I did, she'd be like, oh, he's so sweet,
I hear something funny. I can't tell you how many times I asked that question, right? And out of the middle of nowhere, it'd be an interview, just a conversation just like this. The wife comes walking through the room. It's like randomly, like she, like she's never, the whole conversation, it was quiet, and like randomly the wife just comes in the room at that time. It's really funny, man.
But yeah, personally, on a personal level, I mean, I believe in God, so I'm like, I would say, spiritually, like I think it's something important to me, and my family's super important to me, and obviously when I'm with someone, I'm gonna, that person's gonna become,
sure,
extremely important to me. But I can't say right now my wife or anything, so no one's gonna come in the room like
no significant others. What's your superpower, man?
My superpower?
Yeah.
When there's like, oh no, I can't say that. Okay, when there's like a cute girl I want to go talk to, I'm just gonna start speaking French.
Oh yeah, they love it. That's right. Oh
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, then that's funny.
Not that I'm using that for my advantage.
No, why not?
Say something in French to me. I'm like, okay, well.
Yeah, that's very
Bonjour,
cool.
comment ça va? Je m'appelle Stephan, ça va bien?
Yeah, oh, that's very clever, man. That's clever. Yeah. You know what accents are? Because my wife's from the UK. I love her accent, man. I'd never trade that. I would never give that up. You kidding? 25 years. What are you proudest of?
I mean, I'm proud. I mean, on a career level, I'm really happy and proud. I mean, looking back, like I'm 27. I moved here at 21. I have to say, just like in all humility, I probably have one of the most amazing career in Nashville. Like as far as for the amount of time I've been here, for all the artists I played for, it's just doors opened up for me, and I was at the right place at the right time. Timing was on my side. Like I just feel like to have played for all these major artists and still be young. So I'm excited to see where things are going to go in the future, but I'm proud of that. I mean, to the fact that things worked out. And if not fitness, I mean, when I was a kid, I was practicing guitar 6 to 8 hours a day. So I wouldn't play any sports. So I gained a lot of weight. So basically, like I said, okay, I need to do something. And I lost like 60 pounds, 65 pounds, and
That's awesome,
started to train. So I'm pretty proud of that in a way. So I'm like, if I do it, anyone can do it,
That's really good.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. That's really cool. I was really heavy as a kid too, man. So I know it's like how important it is. And now I'm like, I know how passionate you are. I'm the same way, man. I'm like super disciplined in my diet, and like, I got to have X amount of carbs a day. And, I don't care. That's it. If I'm over, that's it. We're not eating,
Cooking at the house now. And I'm, just more cautious. I think people are not just aware of it. And once you read about it and learn about it, then you realize, oh my God, like there's so much to this that I had no clue, and then
sure.
More knowledge about it, then you eat better, then it becomes a lifestyle, I guess. But
oh, totally, man. I agree with you. What's your favorite place you've traveled? I know you like traveling so much.
I love San Diego because San Diego, I mean, the weather, people are just kind of really healthy and fit, and active, and just the vibe, like the beach and just the Southern California. I love that. Just I think the whole West Coast, like from Oregon, which is such a beautiful state, Oregon, to Washington, to California. I just love that part of the country.
Yeah, the Pacific Northwest is gorgeous.
And then on there's cities I love as well. On the like Chicago, I just think the vibe is cool. You know, like the architecture, like so. And where I'm from, Quebec City is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's like a mini Paris. It's a very like unique city. You know, brick streets, and the downtown is like 400 and something years old, right? So it's very old.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, so much like history, but I would say either San Diego or the whole like wine county, like Napa Valley, like that whole section of the States. I love that.
That's cool, man. Very cool. Well, we talked about a lot of these. Anything you're currently trying to improve on, whether it's musically, personal, business, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, there's always so many things to improve on. I mean, fitness it's a never-ending deal, you know, to become fitter and healthier. Musically, to just like take, you know, just push the boundaries, like everything's possible, you know. I mean, think big, you know, like everything is still possible for any artist, any career. Like, yeah, I mean, I could go get a pub gig, you know. I would have to work more on some rock chops and stuff, but touring with a pub artist would be fun too. I mean, there's just so much to improve for me, like musically, physically. I mean, just like, and I just think like, this is going to sound cliche, but just as far as being every day trying to be the best version of you, like the best person you can be, which could be just in the way I interact with people and the way I am with my friends, or just be like a good person, the best person I can be, I guess.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't think that's cliched. I think that's important. I think it's real good. I think that's, you know, what school's never out. What do they say? School's never out for the pro.
Yeah, I mean, and people remember little things like for years sometimes, and they tell you like, they're like, hey, remember that one time you said this to me? Well, that really like encouraged me, and you're like, oh my God, like I had no clue that sometimes you say has such a big impact on people more than the way you are, you know, the way you love people. It just has a big impact on them. So
yeah, it truly does.
I mean,
hey, let me ask you one more question.
All right.
What's your definition of happiness?
Well, to me, okay, it's going to sound, I think discipline is happiness. So
interesting. In what way?
So every time you make effort in something and because people that, I'll give example. I'm on a healthier diet. I love pizza. So after I ate clean for a week, I go for my cheat day. I go eat pizza, and I enjoy that pizza so much more than if I ate pizza every day. So things have more values when you're disciplined about them, when you deprive yourself, when you're like structured, because you see yourself, you improve, you're proud of yourself, you improve in the things that you're disciplined in. And then when you either take a day off or just, you know, then you appreciate things in life more, you know. To me, it seems like just musically, I practice, I become a better player. That makes me happy. I want to be fitter. I work out. I work super hard. I become more fit, and I'm happy about that. And then if I take a day off, I enjoy that day off even way more when I'm sore from working out a whole week than if I'm sitting on my couch for a full week doing nothing.
I totally get that. So you like so being productive makes you happiness.
Being productive, disciplined about it, just like giving, structured, productive. I think that's happiness. And you know, financially, like you'd say you want to win the lottery tomorrow. I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, of course, with tons of money, you know, you could give a lot to people and all that. And I think that the best is to be able to pay your bills and to save up, you know, and have an extra cushion, you know. But that's it, you know. I'm happy. I have my house. I have, you know, my guitars. I work out. I have good friends. You know, I'm very happy with what I have. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I want to thank you for your time, but you're like one of the most optimistic. I could see why you're doing so well. And I would love to have you back on the show in a couple of years because I know that the trajectory of your career is going to be really cool to watch. So
that'd be awesome. My English is probably going to be better too. Like
your English is fantastic. No, honestly, man, your English. I would say nothing if it wasn't. Your English is great. I would not worry about your English. I mean, I know in the back of your mind because you're like a super disciplined guy and very demanding, and I totally get and respect and relate to every aspect of that. But that's not something to worry about. Your English is extremely good, and especially this is conversational, which is tougher.
Right.
So all the colloquial, the
I try.
Yeah, no, you're tight, man. You're fine. Do you want me to tell everybody about your social media accounts?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
All right, man. So you can find Stephan LaPlante. Let me spell his name on Facebook and Instagram. It's Stephan, and his last name is LaPlante, LaPlante. Man, you're an awesome guy. Like, you'll have an album out one day. You come on here, we'll promote it. And,
eventually we'll do website and everything, and on social media I always put the shows where I'm playing and projects I work on, so people can keep up with
great
everything I do on social media. But yeah, so
awesome. He's touring with Easton Corbin, Easton Corbin. So come out and check him out at the show. And man, I can't thank you enough for your time. You're awesome. Really glad I got to know you, and you're real cool.
My pleasure. It was awesome. It was a fun time.
Good. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this interview as much as I did. Thanks again to Stephan LaPlante for spending time with us. I really appreciate it. And y'all go to everyonelovesguitar.com. Sign up to get notified about future episodes, along with some other cool new things we'll be doing for guitar players. Now, be nice. Go play your guitar and have some fun. Till next time, I'm out. Peace, everybody. We hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, subscribe to the Everyone Loves Guitar podcast, and you can do this online at everyonelovesguitar.com or on iTunes. And if you like the show, please leave us a 5-star positive review. The more 5-star reviews we get, the higher our show ranks, and higher rankings mean we get to continue speaking with cool, interesting guests on our show. We'll see you on the next episode, and until then, keep playing your guitar and have fun making music.